I used to thought that sometimes lying was necessary, not to deceive, but to protect someone, to avoid conflict, to keep the peace. That's how I was raised. In my culture, in my religion, even in my daily life. There was always a place for a lie, as long as the intention was good. And I thought that was normal. Because really, Hummus, who hasn't lied? But one day I was lied to, by someone I loved, someone I trusted, and they told me I didn't want to hurt you. I thought you weren't ready for the truth. And in that moment, my heart didn't break because of what they said. It broke because they chose a lie instead of trusting me with the truth. That's when I started asking questions. If it's okay to lie for a good reason, who decides what's good enough? If lying is allowed in faith, then what does truth even mean? If God himself permits lies in some cases, can he still be trusted? I looked deeper. In Islam, I found the concept of taqiyyah. Lying is allowed in certain situations. To protect your life, to make peace between two people, even between husband and wife. Even in war, it's written, it's accepted, it's allowed. At first I understood, but the more I lived, the more I saw what even a small lie could do. I saw families fall apart because of secrets. I saw trust vanish in marriages because of half-truths. I saw communities break down because the truth was hidden in the name of protection. And then, I read something I never expected. I opened the Bible, a book I was told to ignore, a book I was taught had been changed, but what I found shook me. Because in it I read these words, Satan is the father of lies, John 8:44. And then I read the words of Jesus, I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6, wait, if Jesus is the truth, then every lie, no matter how small, is a rejection of who he is. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying. Truth and lies are not just actions. They are kingdoms. You're either walking in the light or you're hiding in the dark. There is no middle ground. I realized that God doesn't ask us to lie to protect others. He invites us to speak truth, even when it's hard. Because truth is not just right, it's healing. If love needs lies to survive, it's not love. If peace is built on pretending, it's not peace. And that's when I understood. Truth is not just a principle. It's not just a rule. Truth is a person. Jesus doesn't just tell the truth. He is the truth. And when I met him, I couldn't keep living in lies anymore. Yes, I've lied to my parents. I've hidden things from people I loved. I told myself it was for their own good. But every lie pulled me further, from the people I loved, and from the God who made me. Until finally I stopped hiding. And I prayed, God, teach me to live in the light. Living in the light isn't easy. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's humbling, but it's also the only place where I finally felt free. Because Jesus said, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Now I know why in Christianity lying is never justified. Not because God is harsh, but because he is faithful. Not because he doesn't understand, but because he wants to heal. He doesn't ask me to hide. He calls me to confess, so he can restore. And I understand now why lying is allowed in Islam. Because the goal is safety. The goal is survival. The goal is order. But in Jesus, the goal is relationship. I'm not a servant who needs to cover up. I'm a child who can come home. Even in my sin, he still welcomes me. Even in my brokenness, he still calls me beloved. So if today it's you're living in a small lie, a hidden truth, and a quiet compromiser, I just want to say God doesn't want your perfect image. He wants your honest heart. He doesn't shame you for the darkness. He calls you into the light. Because truth is not just a law. Truth is Jesus. And he will never lie to you. I used to think lying was about logic, but now I know it's about trust and about who I believe God really is. Today I don't want to look perfect. I just want to live in the light, because that's where Jesus is. And where the truth is, freedom begins.